There are some concepts in computer science. Um, there's two of them actually I'd like to talk about. One of them is called brute forcing, and another one of them is called cracking. Brute force. Okay, we'll see how this relates to intactivism in a moment. Brute forcing essentially is trying every possible combination of computer code, every single one, um, until you get a match, until you get the key, until you get the answer, until the whole thing unlocks and works. Now, this means parsing through huge numbers of possibilities. It can take forever. I mean, time scales of like the sun burning out. Uh, and it is possible, and you may get the answer tomorrow, or you might get it at the end of the set of the combinations, or you might anywhere in between. And, well, it's the least favorable method when it comes to figuring something out. Now, there's another concept that is called cracking. It is different from brute force. Cracking means finding a fatal flaw in the code, in the implementation, that enables you to cut down on the number of different possibilities you have to try, or cut it down very significantly, and the idea being to reduce the time and resources required in order to achieve the desired result, to figure out the solution to the problem. So, what does this mean for intactivism? Well, I think in terms of intactivism, brute forcing, we're sort of guaranteed. We're engaging in dialogue. We're engaging in spreading information. We're engaging in pleading with prospective parents, particularly prospective mothers. We're protesting, outside hospitals, and we have our symposiums and things, and meetups, and we're affecting some gradual change. Also, there's also another component, which is that circumcision. There's other things here. Circumcision has been declining since the 70s or 80s, from what I've seen, sort of organically on its own, and then we have the rise of the internet. Now, granted, I would have kind of expected it to accelerate a bit faster, the decline of circumcision to accelerate a bit faster in the age of the internet. Maybe it has a little bit. I'm not entirely sure. But I mean, ultimately, circumcision cannot survive in the information age. There's overall, what I'm talking about is sort of this attrition, where circumcising families are, for one reason or another, of our current sort of mainstream efforts, and sort of the natural flow of things and the flow of information and organic trends dating back to the 70s and 80s, are simply not circumcising. And this results in perhaps maybe a 1%, 1.1% reduction in the newborn circumcision rate every year. Maybe. I'm not entirely sure. The numbers I see are very different, but maybe that's about what it works out to. To me, that's sort of what we're guaranteed. The entropy of circumcision, the attrition, and some of our more mainstream efforts sort of guarantees us that much. And of course, circumcision is going to die. The demographic trend's already afoot. mean that this is going to happen. This is the brute forcing to me. Now, what is the cracking? Where cracking comes in is some of these more radical, confrontational ideas that I have been trying to float out there recently. These are things like intactivist protests at schools, public schools, elementary, middle, and high schools. These are protests, parks, public beaches, county fairs, the gates of amusement parks, various different venues. I really like different venues where parents are guaranteed to be with their kids. I really like public school because it guarantees that the kids are right there. They're all together. They're going in past intactivists. They're coming out past intactivists and going straight back into the arms of their parents. As well as other things like my idea of a satirical female circumcision promotion campaign for the medical benefits. These are sort of interesting ideas that may enable us to pick the lock on circumcision, to be a game changer. Especially, I keep coming back to this protesting at schools thing, and the more I think about it, the more powerful it becomes. I think we have to try a pilot program of this, and we'll hash this out again, more on future videos. But there are these sort of tricks, again, picking the lock, accelerating the change, and these ideas may enable us to do it. And that's why we need to brainstorm like this. We need to come up with things like this. We need to turn up the heat on the circumcisionists. And that's sort of my personal philosophy, and where I'm coming from. So tell me what you think. Circumcision, intactivism. Brute force it. Crack it. Tell me what you think.